Iso is the newest member added to the Valorant protocol, and in this video we'll dive into his lore. We'll look into his origins, personality, goals, relationship with other agents, and some wild fan theories that seem to be truer as the days go by. Iso, or Li Zhaoyu, is from China and is the 24th member of the Valorant protocol. He claims he wants to join the protocol as protection from his previous employer, based on this transmission from Cypher. However, we don't know how honest these intentions are, since he is a hitman, and one of his next targets is actually someone on the team. But based on the teasers and trailers leading up to his release, we can think of him as the Keanu Reeves of this universe, or more accurately, the Baba Yaga for my John Wick fans. I say this because in Iso's cinematic trailer called Myths, the dialogue around him was very reminiscent of a shadowy hitman whose actions can put fear into anyone. One of the guards even said that Li Zhao put down a whole squad with just one round of ammo, which takes crazy efficiency and precise aim. It's like getting an ace but only using Chamber's ultimate and nothing else. Which is kind of interesting because in the trailer the guards also say that he puts down his targets for good. But if everyone ends up 6 feet under the ground, who would be alive to tell his feats? Nonetheless, his accolades has earned him the nickname Dead Lilac. Typically, the color purple symbolizes divinity and immortality in Chinese culture, which complements Iso's abilities pretty well, since he is, in fact, bulletproof. Iso is also confirmed to be a Radiant, which explains how he's able to do what he can by creating shields for himself, with his signature ability, or a movable one that others can hide behind called Contingency. He can also send out a projectile that goes through walls and debuffs enemies, like a certain someone that we already know. Don't worry, we'll get to that later in the video. But first, we have to talk about his ultimate, Kill Contract, which sets him drastically apart from the other agents. A lot of my Jujutsu Kaisen fans out there are already calling him Gojo, because his ability is very similar to a power called Domain Expansion from the show, which is cool, but Iso actually creates an interdimensional arena where, at least in-game, he pulls one person in for a good old-fashioned sudden death 1v1. In terms of power scaling, lore-wise, this has to put him up there with the likes of Astra, and gives her a run for her money when it comes to having godlike powers that can shape time and space, on top of the fact that he can convert energy into solid mass, and vice versa. Or as Sage puts it, he manipulates the structures of Radianite itself, transmuting it from intangible energy into solid form, like water changing states with a shift in temperature. The arena, as he calls it, is remarkable in and of itself. To construct a stabilized reality within the Innerverse, he is an architect in the truest sense of the word. And before we get into his role in the Valorant protocol and interactions with other characters, I do want to mention that his in-game codename is Architect, which ties into his abilities, or as the devs who helped create Iso put it.
But then hopefully people notice it. I've seen it already a bit. Like all of his abilities are in the shape of like, I can't make it with my hands, but it's like, we're calling it the hexagon, and it's like the hex flower is what we called it.
The thingy right behind him, yeah.
And like a lot of that intent was actually, you know, when you look at nature, one of the most structurally sound shapes with like the least amount of lines is the hexagon. So we're looking at like beehives and all of that. It was a very strange way to get there.
Hexagons are the best hexagons.
Yes.
So. I am a pro hexagon user. So.
And like many architects, he can be very professional and appreciates creativity to his approach, as we can tell from his voice lines.
I have a reputation to maintain. This is business. I had a job to do, so I did it.
We can also infer that one of his motivations is his grandma.
Nanai, I did this to make you proud. My grandmother always told me, don't forget the spike.
Furthermore, there are a lot of hints that Iso loves to listen to music, from the fact that he always has his earbuds on, as well as this gun buddy that looks like a see-through case for his earbuds. He also makes mention of his playlist quite often.
1 minute, finding a playlist. Ah, perfect. Just as my playlist ends.
All these things really make Iso seem like a down-to-earth individual. He doesn't seem to have any ill will to anyone on the team, and gives a lot of praise to Raze.
A good fight is like a dance, and no one dances harder than Raze.
Even when going against the enemy Sage, he seems very remorseful.
原谅我，前辈。
Additionally, Sage is the only agent he communicates with in his mother tongue.
Hey Sage, 火锅 after this, right? I'll buy.
Which makes sense, since they're both Chinese. This might be a reach, but it seems like Deadlock and Iso are somewhat close with each other, which isn't a surprise since both are the newest members to the protocol. I say this because he knows Deadlock's sisters are dead, as well as the fact that Deadlock let him borrow a book, and we can further assume that Iso is an avid reader based on some of the previous teasers leading up to his release. The only other agent he has interactions with is Omen,
I know what that Omen is capable of, and it's not pretty.
which is interesting since before joining the protocol, Omen was his next target, and it seems like he's well aware of his exploits.
Omen, they say that once you took a contract, their death was inescapable. Anyway, I'm glad we're friends. Omen, everything they said about you is true.
Maybe Iso is just a fan or admires Omen's feats, or these could just be things he knows since he probably would have had to do research on the target's potential past. Nonetheless, the connections between Omen and Iso are very strong, so much so that many people in the community have theories that Omen was once Iso. And as the days pass, these theories seem to be closer and closer to reality. Once Iso's abilities were released, Valorant fans were quickly to notice how similar both agents' abilities are. Both Omen's paranoia and Iso's undercut debuffs enemies, goes through walls, have similar speed/heights, and frustrates me whenever my teammates hit me with their abilities. Omen also has the ability to travel in between dimensions, just like Iso's ultimate. And we can't look past the fact that both these agents sports jackets with purple details on them. There's also a clip of Cypher talking to Omen about Iso just before joining the protocol. Or it could just be the fact that Cypher knows that Omen was Iso's next target and he was just giving him a heads up and some background to this information. There's also a chance that Iso just knew Omen's past and he could be the key to unlocking Omen's dormant memories based on his voice lines as well. Honestly, with the way this is set up, the lore team can take this into any direction that they see fit, and I can't wait for the outcome. We also have hints of Viper pronouncing Omen's name.
Omen. Keep yourself together, you're still needed.
Wait, what did you say? I'm hearing so many things.
Now, I've always thought Omen's name started with a J like John, but is it close to Iso's main name? Li Zhao Yu. More specifically, the Zhao. And forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. It was also revealed in the dossier that Omen went by many names in his past. So take this information as you will. We know that Omen has been trying to regain his memories as well and has a nagging intuition about an hourglass symbol, which could be the same symbol handed to Iso. Lastly, before I take off my tinfoil hat, I want to mention that Iso's name could be short for the word isomer. In chemistry, isomers are molecules that have the same number of atoms of each element, but are rearranged differently, which can cause a change in the molecule's overall appearance and physical properties. But what do you think? Could this just be a happy coincidence? Or are the devs force-feeding us more and more clues? Are Omen and Iso from different timelines, dimensions, or did a freak accident cause a split between the two? Now, one of the more out there theories comes from Reddit user u/Vinzo-sama. He put a lot of work into this theory, but I'm just going to point out that in Chamber Cinematic Trailer, which has one of the best musical scores by the way, he is seen shooting Omen statues and no one else. There's also a lot of similarities between Iso's and Chamber's trailers, but this could just be because Iso and Chamber are both marksmen. Nonetheless, this theory states that maybe Chamber is the one who hired Iso to take out Omen, or maybe the same person or people who paid Chamber are the same that are trying to get Iso to take out Omen. This mysterious third party could want Omen out of commission because before Omen's accident, he may have had some information that he, she, or even they don't want out. Again, this is just a shot in the dark by many people in the community who may have their tinfoil hats on too tightly. Overall, we don't quite know whose side Iso's on, but he seems like a chill, down-to-earth guy who loves to read books, listen to music, and uphold his reputation as the dead Lilac. What do you guys think of Iso? Whose side do you feel like he's on? Also, let me know if you want more lore about other agents, Kingdom, or anything else related to Valorant. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.